い。ほーい。ほーい。 Wait. It's a bit bright in here. 1 second. There we go. Hello! Good afternoon, stinkers. Happy curry Saturday. I probably won't be having curry. I ain't gonna lie, it's too fucking hot for that. I don't know why the sun thought that it could come back, but it is most certainly not fucking welcome. And it would be lovely if it pissed off. Okay? Yeah, that would be great. Thank you for that. Thank you for listening to me for that, Mr. Sun, or Mrs. Sun, or whatever Sun. I hope you guys are doing well. Good job on getting through the week. Big proud of you. I hope you're enjoying your weekend so far. My Friday was shit, I'm not gonna lie. You know how I said I was gonna work on the kitchen? Well, I did, and nothing went right, so I had to take a break. No, it's not. Oh, I got so pissed off. Bro, why is fixing other people's mistakes, like, it's just so annoying, because, like, if you gave a shit when you did it, then I wouldn't be having to spend, like, probably triple the time fucking fixing this mess. Thank you, cowboys. Well, yeah, it's Saturday. So that means we're gonna do our votey vote. Regardless, I hopefully, maybe, should be able to enter the Dragonfly today. We have 2 levels left in the boss fight, I think. If I remember correctly. Although some of the levels I think these last 2 levels are like fucking the biggest levels in the game, so if we do a short stream, we might be pushing it. Depends how well the game decides to behave. Well, let me say my hellos. We'll say my hellos. I am expecting a package. Fun fact, so quite a while back now, actually, there was like some pots and pans that got gifted from my throne. When I went to go order them, they were out of stock, and I was like, great, so I'll just wait until they came back in stock. They eventually did come back in stock, but turns out they actually ship from America. So I've been waiting like fucking 2 months now since I ordered this for it to get here, and I think it's finally arriving today. So I have to go and get those. So, because I usually post pictures of the gifts I get from Throne, so you guys know that it's, you know, that's what's happening with it. I know you guys probably wouldn't think of me as disingenuous or anything. I don't believe I've given you any reason to do that. But it's still for my own comfort. I like, you know, showing them just so you know, like, hey, look, it arrived. Look at what we got. So I felt rather bad that it's taken me so long, but they should get here today at some point. So yeah, thank you for that. It's been so fucking long. Sometimes this shit happens with Throne though. I just have to wait and be patient because the refund thing is a fucking nightmare to deal with. And usually if it got to the point where I was like, okay, it's been too long now, I'm gonna refund it, I'd probably have to reach out to the people that were involved in funding it and then be like, hey guys, what's your PayPal? Can I send it back to you? You know? And not a lot of people are comfortable with that. It's really annoying they don't have like a proper refund thing in place. I'm pretty sure they used to, they just stopped doing it, which is a bit annoying. Anyway, I need to say my hellos, so let me say my hellos. So, hello Gem, congratulations on being first. Hello Jaikon, hello Trashcan, hello Joshy, hello Stevie, hello Ginger, hello Snowy. Gem, thank you for the 125 stream streak. Hello Sag, hello Caps, hello Normanton. Hello Lychee, hello Ray. Hello Penguin, Lychee, thank you for the 170 stream streak. Hello Sandwich, hello Succumbio, hello Viper. Hello CJ, who's on your shirt? This guy's my boyfriend, don't worry about that. He's the latest on the list. Which reminds me, I should probably try and get the
I had to call my doctor to schedule an appointment. They said, how about 10 tomorrow morning? I said, No thanks, I don't need that many Veismile.
You know what's crazy? When I know that a resub is gonna start out with some fucking joke, I don't even have to look at my like activity log or anything like that. I already know who fucking posted it. Like it's gotten to that point where it's just like, oh, okay, well. Whatever. Anyway, as I was saying, I think I might try and go back, open the game, and see if I can get a picture of masked Yifu to see if we can put on a shirt. But for now, this is good. Look at him. He's a cutie. But no, the worst part about the work is that I'm not gonna see a fucking penny of it. Like, this is just for my own comfort, so... It is what it is. I'm okay, Ray. How you doing? Hello, Mark. Snowy, thank you for the 200 stream streak. Hello, Beaker. Thank you for the tier 1 resub. Happy 49 months of this shit. Whatever this shit is. But thank you. I do really appreciate it. Thank you very much for that. Hello, Doc. Thank you for the 25 stream streak. It's just warm today. It's really warm. You started working on a terrain system for your game? I was lurking in your stream. But obviously when I don't have audio, it's pretty hard to follow what's going on when, you know, I'm not a nerd like a couple of you guys in the chat. But that's good. You're getting some real progress done in your game. That's super exciting. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm really feeling the fucking heat now. Cause I guess cause like my stream PC, my stream PC heats up quite a bit. So yeah, hello Babu. Game dev work is fun. I can imagine so if you're passionate about that sort of thing. So yeah, my fan is absolutely going. It's not on the strongest setting because I don't want it to be too loud, but it is. It's going. Touch a pack of ice and ghost slime stay on your lap. He wouldn't do that. He's been enjoying laying on the long cat plush I have on my bed at the moment. Oh, speaking of, hi! Yeah, we were just talking about you. What's up? Come here.
Hello?
Come on. Come here. Stinker. That's a good boy. Have a nice cuddle. Hello, Toffee. Today also I'm gonna try and remember, because I keep forgetting, I need to message people for their letters to ask for addresses to send them to. So if you're receiving a letter, try and keep an eye on your inbox. I keep forgetting. I've been meaning to do that for the past like couple of days now. I remember before stream and I was like, it's gonna be awkward if I do it before stream, so I'll do it after. Hi! Can I have a kiss? Good boy. CJ, thank you for the 370 stream streak. And hello, Brad. Just post them here, guys. What? No, let's not do that. Let's not dox ourselves, please. I hope you're able to get some sleep soon. Hey! Ghost. What's that all about? What's up? You wanna go? You wanna fucking go? You wanna go? Alright. Come on. He just kicked my headset off. Little bastard. Oh. Sorry. There we go. Yeah, so, I didn't know, do you guys want to do the vote straight away? And then we can see if we can get straight into the Dragonfly to see. I don't know what you're feeling today. Hello, Anna. How's it going? Okay, we can do the poll straight away. That might be helpful. Okay, so I have to do a little bit of explanation here, as is the use. But it's too warm. I completely feel that, honestly. So we're gonna do our usual Saturday vote, which is a vote I do every Saturday, unless I'm like not in the mood or vetoing it or for whatever reason, it doesn't matter. But we're doing it today. So what that means is I let you guys vote on what we're gonna do. And your options are to have a long stream as normal. So usual like 6-hour stream. TM. Just in whatever, probably didn't answer Dragonfly if we finish. Do I have a bald spot? Do you see that? Guys, I have a bald spot. What? What the fuck was that? I've never noticed that before. Wait. Oh my god, whenever my head goes private, I have a bald spot. Do I ask Ransom to fix that, or do you think we can leave it in? Is it funnier if we leave it in? I think it's funnier if we leave it in, right? If I just do this, it's fine. You guys won't even know. Little Easter egg. It's completely unintentional. I know it's probably because, like, the hair hasn't been stretched at the top there, but that's pretty funny. Hello, Rochelle. How's it going? Anyway, sorry. So the vote is we either do like a long stream as normal, or you guys have the option to make it a shorter stream where afterwards we go and do some stuff in the Discord. That can either be a hangout where we usually start off with the dolls and then we'll maybe play a game. Could be a party game, could be a game everyone has and feels like playing. Disclaimer, you don't have to play a game. You don't have to sit and voice chat and talk and chat. If you just want to hang out and chill and have company, that's completely fine too. But that's what the hangout is. The other option would be a watch along, and at the moment we are watching through the Grand Tour specials. So those are standalones, so if you haven't seen any of the other ones, it's completely fine, because any two-parters we usually watch in the one session anyway. Hello, Matt V. Oh, Jesus. If I don't see you tomorrow, happy birthday. Oh dear, thank you. So yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to the vote. What I do ask, okay, is that if you don't care, don't vote. If you have no intention of turning up to any of them, don't vote. Okay? There is a fourth option I usually add for people that just want to vote for the sake of voting. You can vote that. I ask this because I don't want you to take anything away from the other voters who will and do actually want to turn up to something. It's not very fair on them. So the example I always use is, imagine 10 people vote for Hangout and then 5 people vote for Watch Along, and then only 3 people turn up to the Hangout. It's not very fair on the potential of the full 5 other people that was going to turn up to the Watch Along or whatever. So Yeah, let's keep it fair. Only vote if it's something you actually want to do. If it's something that you don't want to do, just vote the fucking fourth option. So, obviously, it's not like a law. If you vote for something and then you're all of a sudden unable to turn up, like, I'm not. It's okay. Shit happens, but, you know, I want to try to keep it as fair as possible. So I'm going to put the poll up now. Thank you, Hannah. That's very considerate of you. That's very considerate of you. So you're going to have 10 minutes. So remember, we got long stream, short stream, hangout, short stream, watch along. And if anything ties, then we just do the one that had the least amount of votes usually. There you go. One of these days I'll vote that will count, bless you. You enjoy the company even though I'm too shy to participate? That's completely fine. That's completely fine. The new Chameleon game looks like a laugh. I've played a little bit of it. It is pretty fucking funny. But I am aware it is a paid game, so not everyone might own it. So yeah, that's... When it comes to the hangout stuff, I do try for free games or party games, but if there are people that are explicitly wanting to play a game that you have to buy, I'm not opposed to that, but usually people don't, like, you know. Everyone's always like, oh yeah, I'm good. Like, oh, we can do whatever, but it's like, okay, but I don't know what games you guys have. So, yeah. The hangouts usually last a couple hours, depends on my energy. At minimum, I try to make it so they last kind of like the usual stream time. Sometimes it goes on later, but I can't guarantee that because I might be tired. That's all there is to it. So I'll wait for the vote to be done, and then we can boot up some stuff. Summon through the dragonfly. Peak title, by the way, you got me. I was just gonna type enter deez nuts and like, it's enter the dragonfly, you know. Hello, goat. How's it going? It's hot today, yeah, it's warm. It is warm. I wish I was a worm so I could go chill underground. Okay, yeah, but then what are you gonna do when a bird comes along and starts stomping the ground, and you're gonna be like, oh wait, it's raining, and then you're gonna wriggle all the way up, and then you're gonna get eaten by the bird. Would you still mud goat if he was a worm? I mean, I'd have to. I have Daniel, and he's still a temp, and then I have Winter. I was thinking about that before I started stream. I was like, dude, I really need to get a move on with finding at least one more mod. But I really don't know how to go about it. Because people like the idea of being a mod until they realize they have to do mod things, i.e. enforce rules, but also not be a dick and power trip, you know? So... Oh, my toast is into two of me. Well, there's enough of you to do that, probably, so... Video interview applications on stream. No. I'm in a server, I started being a regular, got asked to join the mod team, went to lead mod, to admin, to fucking co-owner. That's a lot of responsibility. Well, people don't understand, like, as well, it's like, it's a completely volunteer position, and yeah, it's nice, especially if it's a streamer that you enjoy watching, that you're a regular, and oh, I get to be a mod for them, that's kind of crazy, but it's like, you have to actually turn up to streams. You can't be, like, lurking 24/7. Like, there is some responsibility that comes along with it, and you're not getting paid for it. Like, I'd love to pay my mods, I can't. I don't have the funds to. So, that's why I asked them to get the throne wishlist set up so that they could maybe gift some stuff and show our appreciation. So, yeah. Hello, Vec, how's it going? So, yeah. We'll see. Maybe I will open up an application, but I would need to make one. I don't like the generic ones. We'll have to see. Looks like Hangout is winning. You guys wanted to hang out? No worries, thank you for lurking. Best of luck at the landfill and getting your shit done. But I'm okay. The lion. Defeated male lion leaves. Yeah, no, it can get quite stressful quite easily as well. And it's also about, like, deciding whether you're the right fit. Because some people might be a bit more lax, but, you know, I've started knuckling down on certain things. But also, you gotta have a way of, like, you know... You can't just be a dick. You gotta have some sort of, like... I know this is a hobby and it's for fun and it's not supposed to be entirely serious, but you can't just be a dick to people, you know? You gotta have some decorum. I like that word, decorum. Yeah, I feel that, Jam. Oh dear. That's not how you spell. Hang on a second. Hang on a second. But yeah, like, most of the time you're not even doing that much hard work. You're just, you know, first mod that stops by the stream is usually the one that lets you all out of jail, unless I'm here first, because usually I'm doing things like filling up my water bottle, fixing all the shit that decides to break the immediate you click go live. Usually Ghost gets fed. Oh, we're doing a hangout then, okay. Usually Ghost gets fed before stream. So I just have like a bunch of little shit that usually involves me being away from my PC, so usually whenever our mod is back, they'll release you guys from jail. And then most of the time it's just giving warnings for like a bunch of little things. And usually modding the Discord too. I am pretty much the kind of prime Discord modder. There's not really much that usually goes on that I ever have to really, you know, mod. Oh, Winter! How's it going? You don't do anything? Yeah, alright, buddy. Okay. I think Winter is the one that is probably... If there were statistics over how many times a mod has done, like, an action, I would think Winter would be the top one. Oh, my mods make typos all the time. Just the bots, yeah. Yeah, so no, maybe I will make a application form. I don't know if people are actually interested. There's also the feeling of like if a bunch of people. It's not a new fucking. For fuck's sake. Another dead pixel. If a bunch of people do apply and then people don't get it, I hope that people don't hold any resentment towards me. Alright, so since we're doing a hangout, I'm gonna start setting up for Enter Dragonfly, see if we can speedrun the last little bits. You know what's crazy? A video popped up in my recommendation of like all of the hidden stuff and stuff to know about Enter the Dragonfly. It's like 3 hours long, and what it is it's a glorified bug report. It is crazy how fucking rife it is with bugs and shit. It's like a bunch of it's definitely, you can tell this game was rushed, sort of thing. It's crazy. Lots of inconsistencies, lots of like fucking missing collisions, lots of weird collisions, lots of like fucking sound errors and all that sort of shit. Soft locks and the lot. You can, if you have time, getting the glitch into the final boss. You know what's funny? I was considering looking that up. Maybe it could be something I do. I would need to look up a video because I don't remember. I could try doing it now. Obviously just leaving when I get in or whatever. It's yeah, because it's just a specific spot in the fucking portal. I need to fix my chair. Alright, let's see. Prayers and beer is crazy. Why do I have to fucking... Oh, I know. I have to fucking close Steam, right? Because it's, for some reason it's bugged. And then wait, have to fucking configure the pad. She's not connected at all. What the fuck is going on? Hello, thank you for the self-care check. Let me test if this works now. Bulging, provoking. Bring out the knives to cut and divide. There we go. Okay, it's working now. Sick. So I can do this. Hello, Red Boy. How you doing? Saturday is okay. It's just warm. All right, let's see. Apparently they fixed it so that the game capture, the capture card won't. Apparently that wasn't even a me thing. That was just an OBS thing for some reason. So if you didn't know, there was a bug with my capture card audio where for some reason, despite it not being active, it would appear in other scenes. So like every time I raided, I had to fucking tab out to mute it and stuff. It was fucking annoying. Apparently they fixed that in an OBS update. Because I've been putting off an OBS update for like fucking weeks now, so I finally decided to read what it changed to see if there was any point in me updating, and I saw that. I was like, okay, let's go. Let's fucking go. Heat? Yeah, it is warm, isn't it? It's fucking warm. Okay, let's see. Let's just look up a speed run. Just copy what they do. 55 seconds, by the way. 55 fucking seconds. So, they like... Why is this? Whatever. Doesn't matter. That game looks so much crispier than mine. Wait, what? Oh! Wait, we could just go. So it's like this. No. There you go. That's how you do it. That's how you glitch through. Because this portal, as with a lot of the other Spyro games, is and a lot of the the fucking the scene for this is on the other side. It's mirrored. All right. I have to quit the game. I can't just exit the level. Fantastic. But yeah, this happens in a lot of Spyro games where the portal exists despite like it being blocked by a door. That the portal is just always there. So in a lot of speedruns, you know, your attempt is basic in any percent where, because these usually requirements to get through to them, they try and look for glitches to get through the door, and whatnot. But the fact that is so easy to... have to... Okay, I guess I just have to do this. I have to fucking do this fight, I guess.
Hocus pocus.
How do you do this? I don't know how you do this fight. Also, what is going on with my camera? What? Do I just... Can I just do this? No. I'm just gonna die. I'm just... just gonna die! What the fuck is this? No health bar or anything. Just fucking vibes, bro. What the fuck is going on in this game? Why is the fucking damage taking thing like... What is going on? Why is it so fast? Am I supposed to like...
Defeated again. And you'll be sorry. You'll be very
Is there like 3 different music tracks playing right now?
forever. Can it?
So there was like a... It looked like it was loading into the fucking Tiki level, but then just cut straight to fucking credits. I'm not... Play it again! Yeah, I'm surprised. I thought like 6 people worked on this game. No end scene? Maybe at the end of the credits. I don't fucking know. I thought I said David Garcia then. I'm speechless. We've got 2 levels we need to do though. If there's a quality control, if there's any QC, there's no way this game underwent any QC at all. They didn't even have time to finish the game, never mind fucking test it. Empty the fist! Yeah, they didn't even get like... The fucking credits background is just a screenshot of the fucking start screen, bro. There's someone that just says president. The president worked on this game. Hello, Christian. Was this supposed to be the entire stream today? There's 2 levels that we need to do, but for some reason it wouldn't let me leave the fucking Ripto level once I glitched through. There it is, my goat, Stuart Copeland. Sound design and voiceover editing by Womb Music. That is certainly a name. Spyro additional voices. That's putting it lightly. Moneybags. Dude, I was gonna comment on a bunch of things, by the way. So, like, the first like, you can tell that this was made. I know this sounds really stupid. Billy West. But, you can tell that this was made, like, as I was gonna say, it sounds really stupid, but from start to finish, because the first level, it had moneybags in it. It had a nod to the whole releasing dragons from the start of the very first game. So it's like, they probably had all of these ideas, and then over time just ran out. There was no, like, actual planning of where to put things and whatnot. Especially for the fact that I'm pretty sure, I don't think Moneybags is in the last 2 levels. We only saw Moneybags once. And it was in the first level. Like, they just fucking forgot about him. Like, you could put him elsewhere. Testers! Right, okay. Blacklist every single person from this. Because there's no way they turned around and was like, yeah. No, that's good. Pig Sesh Studios! Oh, Snowy, one appearance for the best character. You like Moneybags? Yeah, you could totally tell, like, it's just, like, they ran out of ideas, they ran out of time. It's just fucking slop. Oh, this logged a bit behind. Look at my J-Cod, you finished the game? Well, I was showing them how you glitch through to the Ripto fight, and it wouldn't let me leave. I've got 2 levels I still need to do. Someone needs to, like, just, like, I don't know. Looking at this, it's like, you could tell it just, it feels like they just wanted to make some money. There's no creativity here. And again, I understand that they were very rushed and whatnot, but... Can you not go... Okay, so you can't go through and do it again? Well, we can. We know how to go do it again. We can go do it again at the end. I need to... So, I think once you've defeated... It's crazy you can't go and defeat them again, by the way. I think... Okay, yes. So, Sparks does, in this game, have the ability to point to where gems are. What the fuck are you pointing to? Yeah, you get it after fighting Ripto. The dev team was just cosplaying Moneybags. Well, here's the thing. Moneybags gives you a fucking fully functioning product when you give him money. And usually at the end of the level, you can beat the shit out of him and get your money back. So... guess we can find out where the fuck I'm missing all of these gems from. In that video I was telling you guys about, apparently there is a way for you to use the detection from Sparks to kind of keep him in place. Where is... Oh. Oh, I'm missing like some big gems. That's why there's so much. I swear I just swam through this part and these gems weren't here. Okay, there we go. Whatever. Okay. Okay, we'll go do the last 2 fucking levels, I guess. At least it means if I'm missing a fucking gem, it's not gonna be as rough. But yeah, let me... Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? We have seen them appear as... Yeah, exactly. I just want to prove to you something. I just gotta prove to you guys something. Ah! Oh wait, we're gonna listen to this first. Ah!
Wow!
It's just a
Phenomenal. Alright, you ready? We go here. We go here. There you go. It's a brand new game. Start of the game. And it's fucking speedrun worthy there, but I'm not fighting Ripto again. I'm not fighting him again. Just phenomenal. It's just crazy. This is literally... This game is so small as well compared to the other Spyro games, at least especially the ones in the... If you're taking this as a comparison to the main trilogy, they have like... Oh, I have to fight him again. Why do I have to fight him again? Okay, whatever. They have like 4 homeworlds. Four homeworlds, and each of those worlds have like how many levels? 5 levels? Maybe more. Speedways with speedways, not speedways, speedways. Lots of side missions, lots of side, like in the third game there's side characters and shit.
Oi!
There we go, he's dead. Hello Rhino, hello Miro, how's it going? Thank you for the free stream streak, Miro. Alright, I will do the make it rain while we... Yeah, look, it looks like it's loading into the fucking... I don't know at this point. You guys can watch the credits again for this while I do this. Can you skip the credits? Yes. There you go. It's so warm, guys. Why is it so fucking warm? I'm turning up my fan. As a little treat. My desk fan is fine. Do I have to do this again? Do I have to get the gems again? Yeah, I do. Okay. For some reason, it just doesn't save, I guess, after you killed Ripto. How to win the catch game? Because there was like 7,000 stars. But yeah, as I was saying, in the other games, you have like fucking 4 different homeworlds. Each homeworld has a fucking plethora of levels. This game managed one homeworld with one homeworld's worth of levels. A lot of the side missions and stuff are copied and pasted too. I went the wrong way. There's about 3 voice actors. Turns out as well, for some reason, the Cloud 9 level is the only level that doesn't loop. I'm assuming that was an oversight. Do you know how easy it would have been to just put a fucking platform there? Was the next spire after this one? It might have been Hero's Tale. Hero's Tale was a lot better. It still had problems, but it was probably what this game should have been like. I mean, we can play Hero's Tale, no problem. As I said, I'm pretty sure I did start playing Hero's Tale. On stream, I just didn't finish it. But we can start a new game. I don't have a problem with that. Hero's Tale isn't the worst. It's the main problem with Hero's Tale is it's got a lot of unfun things in it. And by unfun things, I mean they tried the play as other characters thing as well as, you know, they did with Spyro 3. Only they did it poorly because the blink levels make me want to tear my eyeballs out. They're the fucking worst. And there's also a little bit of laziness in it in certain places, but it is what it is. There's a lot of things to collect in that game too. But it's weird because gems are not like they have like a shop and stuff. The way they do it is weird. My main problem with a lot of the mini games as well is like you have to always do them twice, because the first reward is usually like an egg and the second reward is a light gem, which is what you need. And it is really irritating because it's like, well, great, now you've essentially doubled the play time, because the second time you do it is always a little bit harder, but it's like fucking a bunch of annoying shit, you know what I mean? So yeah, but no, we can do Hero's Tale at some point. I don't mind. I was actually thinking like maybe it would be a good idea to just play through all the Spyro games. I have obtained, like, we could play through the original ones. I don't know if I want to play the first game though. I ain't gonna lie to you guys, I don't know if I want to play through the first game. This level is a really cool level, by the way. It's a really cool concept. It's probably the best level in this game, concept-wise, but, you know. It's like, what? It's a level for the thieves? That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, Spyro is a bit of it's a platform collectathon. That's kind of what it is, isn't it? But it's just very, I don't know, it's weird to describe. But we could do Spyro 2, Spyro 3. I wouldn't mind playing Spyro 1 on the Reignited trilogy, but Spyro 1 on, like, as it is rough. The controls are rough. I don't know if I would replay this game. I'm not gonna lie to you. Just depends what we're feeling like. Yeah, Spyro 1 was also my very first game, too. I always say the reason why Spyro 1 is nice is because of the nostalgia. Hello. No, I'm not having fun.
The Riptalk wizards have turned our treasure into monsters. Can you do anything to help us?
Yeah, so look at this. Oh. Try their wing shield. Oh, we've got a use for the wing shield.
For having fun with Spyro's Elksheart.
Hello, Catalog. Thank you so much for the 300 bits. Thank you. You did not have to do that. But I appreciate it. How's it going? I'm glad you're having fun with Spyro. So, another fun fact of this game is apparently, I haven't finished watching the fucking video yet, but apparently these guys have an unused, like, damage taking animation, which insinuates that they were originally supposed to take 2 hits or whatever. But no, the concept for this level is really fucking cool. You're like working like it's the thieves, the egg thieves you're always trying to get the eggs from and shit, and now you're having to do their level. But look at this. This is like a really cool thing. Like, oh, gems are running around. The treasure chests are running around. You know? These fucking camera angles are making me a bit sick, though. I'm not gonna lie. Start building... Team building for Pokemon? Which Pokemon? And what sandwich are you making? I didn't buy bread and groceries. I'm still not. What is going on? Right, okay. Champions? Oh, you play competitive Pokemon? What kind of team do you want to make that? I don't know shit about Pokemon meta. Like, do I have to do this? Like, what is this? Or this? Does this even matter? Oh, I guess it does a little bit. That didn't hit you, though. There we go. Holy shits. His audio is still playing. Fantastic. You love the new ones? That's good. But yeah, I've been watching a lot of Spyro content lately because I've just been really hyped for the new game. I watched a fucking, was it 3-hour video on someone ranking all the Spyro levels. I don't agree with a few of their takes, but it seems they were pretty biased against Spyro 3. But also really liked Spyro 2. I guess I understand it a little bit, but... and some of the way they were ranking levels was very inconsistent. I can't speak on the Game Boy and DS games and stuff, but yeah. Setup tech or stall tech? You sound like the opposite kind of player that I am. Not that I play competitive Pokemon, because I can barely play casual Pokemon, but I am damage tech. If it doesn't do damage, I don't want it. I am also gambler tech. All 4 moves. Metronome, please. Oh. Hyper offense? Oh, there's a term for that? I see. I gotta be frame fucking perfect for this. What is this? Holy shit. Once again, gems are just fucking scattered wherever they felt like it. OG Chatot would probably be the best hyper-offensive Pokemon. Yeah, hyper-offensive to my eyes. I'm gonna bias towards Chatot, that I don't like Chatot because I played Pokemon Explorers of Time. It was like one of my first Pokemon games. Chatot's a little fucking bitch. I'm a bit too close. What a Raichu plushie. Pokemon plushies are always goated. I have a Miss Magius one. It's a very small one. You know what they need to make? They need to make, like, you know how they made a giant Snorlax one? Like a beanbag one? Need that, but I need it to be Gengar, because I'm a, you know, ghost Pokemon girly. There's a move exclusive to Chatot that's called Chatter, and the power was based on an actual word. You could yell on your mic. Wait, that's hilarious. I like that concept. Haven't seen any fucking... Oh, there they are. Did you know that dragonflies, apparently, their speed is dependent on their color? Charlotte!
Hey, it's Charlie.
Need the life-size Arcanine plush? Yeah. Manifesting it for you in your future. Hello, Knothead. How's it going?
Oi!
Why does that wall look like that? A headache? Oh no. I'm glad it cleared up, but that sounds fucking abysmal, especially with how hot it is. Some sleep medication? That's not ideal. Why are there so many bats in this level? Like so much, I think the official term is like fodder. Why is the moon so low over there? I can already tell this is gonna be a pain in the ass, because what was that? Jordan.
Hey, it's Jordan.
It's cold. You wanna trade? We can trade. Say less. Hello? Okay. Did I miss any gems? Oh, there's the thing over there. Do you see? That's the fucking cut. You can have it. I don't want it. I just want the cold all the time, so. Ghost type is my third fave. There's so many good ones if you ever played Champions for competitive or just play for fun. Honestly, I would struggle even playing for fun because I don't know shit all about Pokemon. Oh, Speedway! Rings, thieves, cobras, camels. Did all of them start with rings? I think all of the Speedways so far started with rings. Hey, the music is a fucking banger though. Alright, I remembered the controls are inverted. It's a shame, the soundtrack is wasted on this game. I think we were supposed to get the camels last. Why do the camels only have 2 legs again? Is this supposed to be in reference to Spyro in Spyro 2's Zephyr? Is it Zephyr? No, it's not Zephyr. What am I thinking of? Scorch. In Scorch in Spyro 2, the camels there also only have 2 legs. I don't know what I was supposed to... What's... I can't remember. Is it a lanterns? I can't remember what the fuck the other thing we're supposed to collect is. Well, that's okay. We'll just figure it out, I guess, next time. Oops. It looked like it was lanterns. That's what I thought. I just tried breathing the fire. No, apparently there's a bunch of people riding flying carpets somewhere. What? Where? Oh, I see them now. They're over... Okay, I might get them before the fucking cobras then. This took forever. I might not get this. Oh, this might be a bit rough. Bon, hello! Thank you so much for the raid. Give me a couple of seconds and I'll send you over to the video. I just need to kill these camels real quick. This might be a tight squeeze. This might be a tight fucking squeeze. Come on. Why is this so fucking big? Come on. I need the last one. Okay, we got it. There we go. With fucking 7 years to spare. Thank you so much for the raid. I'll send you over to the video now. Enjoy.
Hello Raiders. If you feel this stream isn't for you, or you have to leave for other things, don't worry about it. No one's going to chase after you, or hold any grudges. But if you feel like staying, then I hope you enjoy it here.
Hello, my name's Hel. I'm a PI Crow, private investigator by day. Oh, she's dead. Paranormal investigator at night.
Hands off, Dalamar.
That cat just spoke real life words to me. Prego illustrator at sunrises and sunsets. Sorry, I got something in my eye. Alright, I will never do that again. We're fucking gaming. Let's fucking go!
Eat it. Eat this one as well.
Why are you feeding them?
What the fuck is it?
No! Hello! Welcome Raiders, Bon, thank you so much for the raid. I hope you had a lovely stream. It says you were just chatting. I don't know if you were getting up to anything before then. Or you just chatted and chilled all stream. Do feel free to let us know all about it if you would like. If you don't want to, that's completely fine as well. You just got done streaming, probably want to go get some rest. Completely understandable, so don't worry about it. But yeah. Anyone that is new here, hello. I'm Hel. I won't do too much yapping. The raid video does it for me. But we're playing Spyro. That's sorry, fucking my brain lag. Then we're playing Spyro Into the Dragonfly, the worst Spyro game, or at least up there for the worst Spyro game that ever exists. We're very nearly done with it though. So very happy about that. Just talking about Pokemon champions at the moment. I don't know particularly enough about Pokemon, honestly. I am the type of person that still needs to Google all of the strengths and weaknesses. Or, no, my favorite is I'm the type of person that will use Flamethrower on a Sudowoodo. I like that one. Thanks for self-care check, Ray. Rambunctious Raccoon, thank you so much for the follow, by the way. Welcome to the Moira. I hope you enjoy your stay. Hello, Kraka. How you doing? You were playing Baldur's Gate 3? I've been playing Baldur's Gate 3 too. I'm still on my first playthrough though. We're in Act 3 though. We're in Act 3. It's a lot of fun. I hope you had an enjoyable time though. Oh god. I don't want to try again. We just finished the speedway. I got 2 more levels. I got this level and then the next level and it's the last. Flamethrower is good into Sudowoodo. That one has no special defense. Okay, but you know my point. You know my point. Who's this? Copper Top.
Hey, it's Copper Top.
What a name. Okay, we gotta race the thieves. Alright, let's see how fucking annoying this one is. Remember, we always gotta go through the stars, even if the stars look like they're in a silly position. No, that's okay, it's okay. We've got quite a few Pokemon nerds in here, so I understand it. See ya. Oh, I missed that one. Oh, it's over. I've lost the race. I missed a star. What is this? Is this a shortcut or is this bait? I swear to God if this is bait. Okay, it's not bait. Thank God for that. Looks like there should be a star here too. Why is there so much empty space? You know what doesn't help? The fact that, like, I struggle with typings and then I play fucking randomizers and, you know, things just have things that they shouldn't. Oh, already on a second lap. This is such a tight fucking... Another issue with some of these is like, yeah, it's that basic speedway race principle, but it needs to flow still, you know? It still needs to flow. It can't feel that awkward going for something like that. You know, what I want to say is, you know how Pikachu is pretty, like, you know, face of Pokemon? I feel like Charizard is the face of competitive Pokemon. I feel like Charizard doesn't get enough hate for that. I feel like Pikachu gets a ton of fucking hate for being, like, the face of Pokemon, and Charizard doesn't get any. Oh, fuck. Well, shits. Everyone's always wanting Charizard cards. Everyone's always wanting a Charizard fucking on their team. You know what I mean? Hello, Phoenix. How's it going? I knew it! These were not here before! This happened in the last Speedway, and I thought that I was being stupid. I thought I was being so stupid. That was not... They weren't here. Originally, the mascot was going to be Clefairy. I think I heard that somewhere before. Unless you're making that up, then I didn't, and I'm just lying. Walk like an Egyptian. I just fired that off for no reason, I guess. They, I feel like with this soundtrack, they definitely, like, with this game soundtrack, they definitely added a lot more vocal stuff in. What's your favorite Pokemon? Miss Magius. I love Miss Magius. Although Ceruledge is getting up there. I love Ceruledge too. Ceruledge is so cool. But I like Miss Magius. Am I, like, cooked? Okay, no, I'm first. No, I'm second. What the fuck? Wait, is there a fucking speed up around there? Wait, there's a speed up around there? Wait, fucking goddamn it. Holy shit. Okay, right. See what I mean? You miss... Well, I guess technically I missed 3 speed ups, technically, because every fucking thing, but... You know what's funny? I thought it was suspicious. I was like, why is there so much... Like, I was expecting, like, a speed up to be on the other side. I was like, there's so much fucking free space there. That's why it's on the fucking other side. Bastards. There's like a layer issue with the stars, by the way, or like a fucking, yeah, like a layer type issue. Looks like the fucking stars are like fucking overlaid or whatever, but it looks really bad with the bottom of the mountain. You can see the bottom of the mountain through the stars, but like the water is, you know what, I don't know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. You see there? You see through the stars, you can see the clear line from the bottom of the mountain. You're not even first place. I'm just fucking bullying you. It's like that with the rings too, now I noticed. What? Fuck off, bro! God fucking damn it. Ham, bacon, pickles, and provolone and white wheat bread? That sounds good. I'm a bit put off with sandwiches at the moment. It's really funny. That moon could not look any more 2D. Oh, I didn't hit that apparently. I didn't hit that. Well, I definitely didn't hit that actually. I think I've lost this, by the way. If you miss like a fucking speed up, it's just doomed. It's fine, we're fine. I also hate the speedways, but they're even worse in this game. Is it fine? It has to be. I guess I didn't hit that one. My bad. Surprised I hit that one. I need to lock in. Oh, that just didn't hit anyone. Okay. I missed one fucking first try, let's go. Get me out of here. Get me the fuck out of here. Who's this? Neo.
Hey, it's Neo.
Holy shit. Alright, let me out. Alright, sick. Aren't the hidden quests and speedways in the first, the second and the third games? Yes. In this game, no. Although there was like a area in the Cloud9 speedway that did suggest that there might have been. 1 second. There we go. Sorry about that. The set arrived. I'll take a picture later. Yeah, sorry. There was in that video I was telling you guys that I watched, apparently there's like a little area in Cloud9 that they were like, we don't know what this was for. But I have a feeling it's probably because they did intend to put the weird side challenges in the speedways too. In the second game it was like anyone, but I'm pretty sure in the third game it was like exclusively Hunter. So... You can still hear him. There's also an interesting bug or graphical issue on the ice level. I want to see if it's there, which is pretty funny. Who's on your shirt? That's Lee Yifu. My man. It's a Road Tempest 2 meme. Oh, I need to fix my chair.
You know, if I could swim, I'd dive under that water and press the switch to open that door up there.
What? Really? Well, you can't, so you won't. Whew. Okay. My water wings. What? Watch out for the pool cleaner. What? He needs his floaties. Well, if you had floaties, you wouldn't be able to dive under the water, so... I think he just needs to get a grip. Sinkies! Not the Sinkies. Where's this button? Or are those the buttons? Oh, they are the buttons. Right, sick. So, instead of push that button, let's push those buttons. Ice him. You want the stones? No, I want the Sinkies. Have you looked into the actual history of that story? I feel like that would be a fun rabbit hole to go down. Road Tempers 2? I looked at the little bit of stuff on Wikipedia. There were some things that stood out to me. Why are we seeing... Oh, right. that was done differently in the game. So, for example, if I might need to reread it because I might have read that wrong. Apparently, it was the fucking emperor that had. So consort Xian and the fucking empress were killed by the emperor, apparently, not by Wu. Don't know what that's all about. The fact that our emperor would have gotten mad at us if we'd have killed them, when in reality it was actually him. It's just like, it's not like a one-to-one thing, but yeah. Sparkle probably knows a lot about it. So you could probably ask him, what's this fucking key here? I don't know, I'm still soured by the whole AI shit. What a fucking horrible way to end something that was actually really, like, just, like, do damage, or is it a platform you can stand on? How much they can actually pull? It looked like quite a fair amount, honestly. Tell me to get the notes ready. Bless you. Hi. It is what it is, I guess. Oh. Right, that just... Interesting. That probably fell down, didn't it? It did. Well, back up we go. Goes. Where did... Okay, thank God. I was like, if that had fallen and clipped in there, I'd have been a little upsetty skibetty. Oh, we're just... Uh oh. Did that fall down the chasm? Uh-oh. Just fucking going places, I guess. Oh, the end of the level is over there. And there's something over there that we can fly to. Oh, there we go. Martin.
Hey, it's Martin.
Okay. We can just go back this way later. I've got shit I need to collect here. Oh. That wasn't good enough, apparently. Oop. Where are we going? Okay. Positive affirmation, I'm a real trooper for getting through this fucking game. I have the patience of a saint. Not just getting through the game, might I add, but you know, fucking doing it 100%, making sure it's a well thorough playthrough. This doesn't have a sound. This is missing its sound effect. Who needs sound effects, I guess? There was no reason for that to have happened, by the way. Why am I... Oh, yeah, because they're allergic to putting Zoe anywhere, so I'm fucking all the way back here. You get 3 Zoes a fucking level. Imagine they port all of the Spyros to Steam, including this one. Could you imagine the reviews? Oh my god. The only way to stop any sort of onslaught would be to make it free. So like people are just, you know... Well, I think people will still like give their fucking 2 cents or whatever, but... People can mod it, yeah. Honestly, I'm surprised. You know how there was people trying to... I'm never getting that back, am I? You know how there was people trying to remake the original trilogy in Unity? Maybe they do that, but what do you call it? In this game instead. There's no way anyone would remaster this game. Do you know what's funny? Do you think Toys for Bob thought about it and was like, no, we just need to make a new game? Is this game made by Konami? I don't know who the fuck made this game. Not Konami. Konami did not make this game. There's no way. Wait. I don't get a dragonfly at the end of this level? Wait, what? Dude, Wrath of Cortex was a goated game, so... I really like that game. Do I really not get a dragonfly here? How many dragonflies are there in this level? There's still fucking 10 dragon... Where? Where are these dragonflies? What the fuck? Let's go do the minigame, I guess. Hello, Chris. Hello, Weird. How's it going? Crash into Spyro 1 as a co-op game with it. That sounds pretty cute. No! Fuck's sake. I think what's annoying is if you fall off of something here, you fucking immediately enter the fucking falling animation. When you enter that animation, you can't glide. You should only enter that animation when it's certain death and you can't fly anywhere past a certain barrier in the fucking level. And now I have to fly all the way back. All the way to work. On a Saturday. All the way to work. There should be a Zoe up here. It pisses me off. Why is there no Zoe? Is there like a fucking platform down here? What is this? It did it again! Oh my god. Oh, what a fucking pain. What a pain in my asshole. Guys, we might not actually get this game finished today. Because I'm pretty sure the last level was like the fucking biggest, emptiest piece of shit level in the game. You finished 2 minutes into the game? Yeah, I suppose you're right. Who's this? Atsumi.
It's Atsumi.
I have a key for something too. They just put these fucking swirly whirlies everywhere. This was self-care check art. Alright. 7. 6. 5. 4. Oh, there was some back there too. I see. There we go. Okay, who we got? Martha.
Hey, it's Marta.
I swear I fucking got these, but hey, I guess not. It pisses me off as well. So you see when that comes up, it's because it's R1. To switch your breaths, it's L1. But it's not, it's like a cycle. So you can't just go back and forth. You have to go through all the other fucking breaths if you want the breath that you need. There's a red gem over there I didn't get. Let me see if there's a Zoe over here at least. There isn't. Okay, right. Universal Check 6 Equinox Digital Entertainment. Is that who made the game? I think Stevie said before that they only made this game. Oh wait, we're back at the beginning. Wait. Oh, that's where the chest is. Wait, is there no loop here? Is there no way back? I got lied to. I got lied to. They said there was a loop in all the other... Me when I get lied to. Well, Sparks' fucking shadow was bugged there. Also, look at this. This is another thing I found out from the game. Spyro's shadow disappears when you go into the start menu. Also, you can stop Sparks from picking up gems if you spam the start menu, because every time you click start, it resets the animation of him going to pick up the gems. 50 degrees? I would advise you stay away from those areas. Maybe, you know, send them thoughts and prayers. Wonder what the folks at Insomniac thought of this game. They probably wouldn't be able to comment. I'm going to assume it's not going to be polite. Still missing, like... If it's just one dragonfly, it's fine. I'm missing 3. Published by Universal, created by Check 6 and Equinox Studios. See. Wait, where are you pointing? What? Alright, you're gaslighting me, Sparks. Activision has no rights, so no remake. Honestly, thank fuck for that. It's a shame about the Wrath of Cortex though, because that was a really fucking goated game. Could you imagine Crash Bash remake? That would be sick too. Deals can always be made, yeah. Yeah. That is also... What? What? Why? What? Why? Whatever. Hello, David. How's it going? What fucking ever, dude? Why? Man. Died. How's the weather? Hopefully not too warm. Although judging from everywhere else everyone has said, as well as where it is here today. I'm gonna become the Joker. Look, I'm aware. I'm not a platform girly. Platform games are not my forte. I'm not very good at platforming. I'm very good at parkouring. But when you're having to do that with that kind of skill set in a game as janky as this, do I fucking feel a hemorrhage coming on, you know? Okay. Finish groceries. Sick. Nah. Why didn't you give me a fucking dragonfly? I swear to God if you're supposed to, but for some reason just didn't, we are going to have many problems. Honestly. Okay, right. We gotta be careful of the invisible fucking wall, I guess. There we go. Cloud was on hold with the whole library up. That's fair enough. Cool. Racket.
Hey, it's Rack.
Right, sick. Crash Racing got a remake and oh, it didn't get ported to PC. It's kind of sad. Alright, time to go back through the whole level and see what the fuck we missed. Really, something fucking all the way up there? Oh yeah, I missed a gem right at the beginning, I guess. Oh no, I didn't. It just... Right. It's just bait. What are you fucking looking at, Sparks? Is there something I have to fly to that's gonna be annoying again? You love backtracking? It's my favorite. I do love backtracking so much. I'm still missing like fucking 2 dragonflies too. Here. I just don't know where he's pointing to. I missed 1 green gem? I think I missed more than that. Yeah, I'm missing fucking 14 gems. I have a feeling it's wherever these fucking dragonflies are too. Is the reason this is like this? Oh my god! I commented on this earlier! I didn't think this was why! Oh my fucking god. I guess it's honestly my bad. That's probably why I didn't get a dragonfly at the end, because I didn't do that. Oh, what is this mini game? Please don't be something abhorrent. Is this platforming? It's a maze. Right, this is not really a maze, is it though? I'm assuming I have to light them all. If I'm on a timer, I might get upset though. Oh, this frame rate, bro. Okay, good news is I might not be on a timer. Look, frames to 30, it wouldn't matter. This game is that bad. The frame rate drops are just, it's actually a part of the game experience. My depth perception is fucking horrible. No! God fucking damn it. I'm gonna have to start from the beginning too. Okay, right. We go around first. What a pain, bro. No worries, Toffee. I hope you get some good rest. Appreciate you stopping by. Thank you. I'm also fighting the fucking camera, bro. Holy shit. Changes the passive? I might have to. But it doesn't help with where these are. Did another fucking soundtrack start playing? Oh, I think I fucked up here. Do you hear that? What? I think I need to go on a different platform. Also, this doesn't work. Turning the music off doesn't work. I think I'm losing my fucking mind. Oh my god. I think I got all of the out there ones. I just need to wait for the next inner one, and then I'm done. Now there's no music at all. Honestly, not complaining though. Imagine I get to the top and I fumble. 100% possible with me. Alright, we're done, right? Just notice there's no sparks here. What happened to these guys not being killable with my normal breath? What? Okay, whatever.
What skill? I can't believe.
Yeah, don't talk to me ever again. Morpheus?
Hey, it's Morpheus.
Morbius.
Wanna try to
No.
come back?
Leave. It's Morbin time. I think Cian has a sound file of me going, I'm Morbin, yeah. She asked for it a while back, I don't know why. I'm pretty sure it was Cian. I've never watched Morbius. I don't know what the problem, if any, there is with Morbius. We get everything. The music... A third time? I don't think I don't... Do you guys want to make it a movie night thing? You want to watch Morbius? I don't even know what the fuck it's about. I just know that it's... people don't like it. It's apparently bad. Does it have Keanu Reeves in it? How can a Keanu Reeves movie be bad? He's a vampire? I like vampires. I think they're pretty hot. Am I going back the way I came? No. Jared Leto? I was always confused when he went into, like, acting. I was like, wait, isn't that the guy that sings, like, the 30 Seconds to Mars frontman? Vladimir is not a baddie. He is not in League of Legends, but low-key in the new cinematics he's been in. He's been, you know, serving. I'm the Joker, baby. This fucking level took like an hour and a half, by the way. He's a hemomancer, not a vampire? Oh, true. Shit. Yeah, you're right, actually. He is a hemomancer. I'm pretty sure I made I think I said this to someone recently, too. I pulled out the glasses and went, actually, he's a hemomancer, not a vampire. Should be serving behind bars. Alright, are you gonna give me a dragonfly now? Oh, there we go. Mickey. Mickey Smith. Get me out. Take me home. Never talk to me ever again. Fuck this game. I hate it so very much. Lots and lots. Ricky. Oh, I love Doctor Who, dude. Sad to hear about the news. Oh, you didn't have to clip that. Oh, you didn't have to clip that. You didn't have to clip that. My ad-libbing. Alright, time for this fucking level.
Hooray! You did it! My contraption is working! Ouch!
Yeah, hopefully. Do it some justice. What the fuck is this? What is this loading screen? Thank God there are no skill points in this game. Getting skill points in this game, I'd have lost my fucking mind. Hello? 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 You're joking, right? You're fucking joking me. Bro, I have fucking 25 minutes to do the biggest level in the game. Are you telling me I can't play this? Are you telling me I can't play this level? Guys, look away for a second. In fact, you know, I'll just have to fucking do this. Let me just... I think the game crashed. Oh yeah, certainly, yeah. Yeah, it's not closing. It's not responding. What the actual fuck? I refer to my earlier statement. It doesn't turn off though. I had to force fucking close it. See, it is a legitimate PlayStation 2. You heard that? That's like PlayStation 2 noise. I really need to pee, and I was gonna hold it until the end of the stream before we do the hangout, because I wanted to get this level done, but if this level doesn't load, like, I don't know what to tell you guys, other than I tried my best. Maybe if it doesn't load, I will leave it to load and then go to the bathroom. Maybe when I come back, it will be loaded. Okay, we're not going into the level. We're going to the home world. I swear, if it's a fucking Ripto fight, if it didn't save anything, even when I manually saved, we might have to leave this for another stream. We're in the level! Oh, hallelujah! We didn't load into the level, but you know, I'll fucking take it. That's fine by me. I'm fine with this. Alright, we need to fucking speedrun this, even though I played this level once when I was like fucking maybe 10 years old. What do you want?
Aha, Spyro! The R1000 and the...
Okay.
Oh. No.
Okay, so... I'm gonna use this breath. You know what's bad? Oh wait, maybe it does loop. Maybe that back part comes up. Alright. This fucking level of empty nothingness, bro. This music reminds me of... That little flute part reminds me of, fucking... Tall Plains' stuff. Oh my lord. I wasn't joking, by the way. This level is fucking massive. But not because it's like full of good things, it's just empty. Why is that playing like every 2 seconds? Okay. The lava texture is looking very crusty. I hear something. Oh, it's just through the wall, of course. Why was that so shiny? Hello. What do you want? Copeland.
Oh, yeah?
Wait,
How
does he
so?
voice this?
Well, I believe that these strange drawings on the walls.
I couldn't tell you. What strange drawings on the walls?
Yes, and from what I've been able to decipher, it seems
Okay.
that the gems on the statues inside react to heat. Perhaps you can figure out the rest by now.
Oh, do we have to match them or something? Or is there an order? Oh, puzzle time when I don't have time for a puzzle. The running sounds are starting to get to you. It's funny because they still play when they're not... Oh, is this the drawings on the wall? Okay, wait. I see blue, I see red, I see pink. Am I supposed to, like, do this? And then what? I can go up here. Oh. I see. I don't have time for this shit, bro. There we go. Doompa.
Hey, it's Doompa.
Alright, so red is 1. Red, something, blue, pink. Should probably do the... Yeah, it really does sound like red, green, blue, pink, and probably yellow, right? We'll go with that. Red, green, blue, pink, yellow. Green, blue, pink, yellow. Scarlet.
Hey, it's Scarlet.
Anywhere else to climb up? No, I think that's just it. Oh, there's the key there. Oh, there's gems on the statues. Why wouldn't there be? Oh, you can't go in there. Okay. Alright, we did your fucking puzzle. Time to move on. Yeah, that fucking little motif in there definitely does sound like the thing that you heard, that small, tall planes. I saw that. Am I missing anything? No. Kinda reminds me of Sergeant Bird's level when you first unlock him. This fucking bird needs to give it a rest. There's an entire area down there. Bro! Calm down. Oh my god. Oh, bollocks. Oh, that was a death scene. Oh. I wonder why that bridge is the only one with that kind of physics. Not complaining because it's fucking horrible, but... Alright, you know, I'm gonna go down here and see what needs to be done. It's fucking massive area of nothingness. Go back up there later. I think that's where you can get a bunch of stuff. What the fuck is this for? so pointless. It's like shit. We don't know where to put it. Karen.
Hey, it's Karen.
That's what I sound like. We don't know where to put it. We need to make sure every level has 10 dragonflies. But even though we have all of the space to do whatever with, we have no idea where to put a dragonfly. Just put one of those fucking challenges in. Why not? Alright, what is this? Please do not be a speedway. Slide down to the... Oh, it's a slide. Alright, that's not the worst. I have a feeling I'm gonna regret saying that. Well, this music. Okay, so far, this slide looks a lot more fucking interactive than the other fucking slides that we've had to do. Oh, that's a tight turn. Oh, that's a tight fucking turn. Please tell me that's like the hardest part of the slide, because that's fucking evil. Oi. Holy shit. Oh my fucking god. Bro, where the fuck am I? How long is this slide? Oh my god. Holy shit. Bro! What the fuck is that slide? Wait, 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 wait.
You made it just in time.
Thanks for sub-catching, Leora.
I found a
How's it going?
dragonfly on my way down.
Jesus fucking Christ. Hello, Saji.
Hey, it's Son.
Oh, that was almost horrible. No, I don't want to try sliding it down again ever, please. The music is banger, though. Honestly, fucking Copeland cooks every single time. That's why I say this, like, whole soundtrack is very wasted on this game. Alright. I don't think there's like a bonus wilderness either for if you collect everything, as far as I'm aware. This way. I got the gem, yeah, I did. Do they go all the way down? No, they don't. Okay, that's fine. Whoa. What? Why? What the fuck was that? It fucking threw me off. Oh no, I'm so fucking far. Oh wait. I'm not that far back because the fucking thing is used as a thing. However, it does mean I have to climb this fucking thing every time, I suppose. Oh well. I hope this isn't too much longer. I'm aware it's very close to hangout time. I do apologize. There's like grass area down there. I hope there's no gems or anything. Alright, we gotta be patient. Hello Randall, how's it going? Just wait. Okay, boom. We're good, glad to hear it. Oof. Oh, Zoe! Hello. So, another fun fact, the animation where Zoe is doing that, the save thing, the zap isn't actually lined up with her wand, it's like just above it or something. There's a lot going on here. I'm kind of overwhelmed. I'm not going to lie. Why are there those beings on the fucking lava? I also how when you freeze them, it goes back to like their starting frame rather than the frame they're currently in. It's one of the things I enjoyed about Spyro 3 when you're in Frozen Altars, is when you used the freeze breath in that level, you could like have some pretty funny sculptures, you know? Okay, what are we doing here? Yeah, I can. Get it back for me, okay? Okay. Right. There isn't even a fucking, like, they couldn't even like paint them silver or anything. Oh, they drop gems. Mitch.
Hey, it's Mitch.
Oh, that's the equipment, not the gems. Thank God it doesn't reset whenever you go through this. It's not like timing you. You have to fucking do it all in one or whatever. Especially considering there's a whole ass animation for you to pick up the equipment. It's crazy. Alright, what the fuck is going on in this cave over here? Holy shit. I can see seams in the lava too. Oh, there's a... Oh, that's where the other minigame is, I guess. Alright, I will go give the professor the equipment back because I don't trust it not resetting if I go through here. So we can do that first. And then we can come back here, I guess. I was wondering why this kind of hall looked special. Let me look. What are we doing gem-wise? Okay, 100 gems left. We should be okay. I don't think this should take much longer. But if you guys really want to, I can just stop here and we can go hang out and I can finish this whenever. It's really up to you guys. Jason.
Hey, it's Jason.
Oh wow, that wasn't cut up or anything like that. Please don't be a speedway. Please be a one and done. Please be something easy, please. Please, 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 please. Please. Tower of Scary and Ridiculous Heights. To climb to the top of the tower. Great, it's platforming. What the fuck is this? Oh, it's just climbing. Oh, okay. Oh, spiders. Ooh, okay. I'm sure this is gonna be easy. Okay, okay, that's good. That's good. That's enough. Fucking showing. Let's go. Hello, Longo. Happy platforming? It's not platforming, it's just climbing. Oh, there's a time limit. What? Oh, no, it's not a time limit, it's my health. How are you? Wait. Ow. Does it just mean that that's not the way? Oh, because you can like oh, right. Okay. Okay, easy peasy. Holy shit. Hello. Alright, cool. Sorry, I'm skipping all the dialogue. Warren.
Hey, it's Warren.
I can only be bought with dragonflies. I'm not doing it if there's no dragonflies. Okie dokie. Let's go. The rest of the level is going to be a breeze. I'm manifesting it. We'd have to kill these guys again. Wait, what? Why'd you drop a gem? I must just not have waited enough last time. Alright. I hear a thief. Is this the end of the level? Or is this just here for shits and gigs? Where's Bro running?
It's Spyro.
Uh-oh. Holy fuck, that was close. Oh, there's a... Why is this guy so fast? The other ones are never this fast. There we go. Do we get to pick up what he dropped or no? Is that just gone forever? It's that part. It's so fucking tall plains coded. Oh, we didn't have to pick up anything. Bonky. Hello, Ninja. How's it going? Bonky is certainly a name. Holy shit, that fucking... Dr. Egghead, he made it. And I got another dragonfly, let's go. Is this the last one I needed though? Wonky! Okay, Bonky and Wonky, they ran out of names. They ran out of fucking names. Okay. Come on, we're so close to the end. What is this? Okay, there we go. Okay, where is this gem? I'm missing 2 reds or a green. And 1 dragonfly. No, I'm not missing 2 reds or a green. I'm missing 2 greens or 4 reds. Probably 2 greens, right? Come on, I'm so close to the end. If it's in order, then it's before the lightning challenge. Oh, wait, no, I know where it is. It's in the fucking chest. What are you... Where are you pointing, bro? What? Guys, this gem is in the fucking lava. Oh, I see a red gem up there. John Mark.
Hey, it's Jean Marc.
Do it, Spyro, jump. Do a flip. Oh, it is. I'm missing 4 reds. There's gonna be 2... Oh wait, no, there's 3 reds here. I was gonna say there's gonna be 2 reds on the other side, isn't there? I'm missing 1 gem! Why are there 2 green gems there? What? What? What's gonna happen when I collect these? 1 extra? Well, that's not even the point. These gems are worth 2 each. Oh. It just disappeared. It didn't even give me my... Whatever. 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 Oh, is this gonna crash? Oh, is this gonna fucking crash? It'll save at least. It'll save. Oh my god, I think we did it. JD's and Lentleman, we finished Spyro Into the Dragonfly. 1,000 million% complete. Bada bing! open the menu because it's got to go through this. Well, yeah. Wait, that fucking loop on the gem is... It's not looped properly. Bada bing, bada boom. 100% complete. All done. Everything. Despite all odds. All done. Alright. So, sick. Nice. We're finished with that. I need to go pee so badly. That is going to be the end of today's stream. Sorry, I ran over a wee bit. It's just the game itself. Yeah, that's just the game itself. Whenever I flip the fucking page, it's diabolical, eh? Hello, Boyka. I hope you're well. Yeah, we're going to be ending stream now because you guys wanted to do a hangout, so we're going to go do a hangout. Reminder, even if you don't want to chat or play any games, feel free to stop by. If you're just feeling like company, that's completely fine. Don't worry too much about that sort of thing. But yeah, I'm going to end it here for today. We knocked Spyro off the list, so that just leaves the Pokemon Nuzlocke and, well, I suppose it's distinctively what I owe you, as well as the mod streams for the crowd control, and then we want to get Undertale done as well, so yeah. But yeah, that's going to be it for me today. I'd appreciate it if you could stick around for just a wee bit longer, because as always, I would like to raid out into someone, because it makes their day seeing your faces, and you get some channel points for doing so. I think we're going to go say hello to Joshy today. Joshy's playing some Simpsons Hit and Run, so you guys can go say hello to him. I don't have a raid message. I don't really do raid messages, but if you'd like to pop hello in the chat, ask him how he's doing. I'm sure he'd be thrilled with the conversation. Just be on your best behavior. Make sure you read the rules and whatnot. Don't be a dickhead, because if anyone is, I'll be there and lurking. I will know, and you won't be welcome back here. But you guys are fine, usually, so I'm sure there's not going to be a problem with that. But thank you so much for coming today. Thank you for putting up with fucking Enter the Dragonfly. Holy shit, I can't believe we got that done. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. Regardless, I hope it was entertaining enough for you, which from the sounds of it, it does seem to have been the case. But yeah, thank you to my chatters, thank you to my lurkers, anybody that came by in the raid today who decided to stick around and give me a chance. I appreciate it. It means a lot to me. For now, you guys have a wonderful rest of your morning, noon, or night. Wherever you are, take plenty good care of yourselves. Try your best as always. And if I don't see you in the hangout, I'll hopefully see you guys tomorrow, okay? Okay, right. Bye-bye!